Yo, what's good? What's good? How we doing tonight? How we feeling? What's the vibes like here in New York City, man? This weather, it's getting right, baby. It's getting right. Um, you know what's not right? The Knicks. They've lost two straight, but it's not just the fact that they've lost two straight. It's, what's a terrible optic, man? You have a 7-game win streak when you're playing tomato cans, and then all of a sudden, the competition levels up and you get smoked twice. So we'll talk about it tonight. My man Jeff Johnson, Knicks Film School, he's going to join us in a moment to discuss not just last night's game, but just big picture stuff. I don't know. You guys who have listened to me all season long, I have been committed to my Knicks winning the East prediction. I just don't like the vibes, man. I got to be honest. The vibes feel a little bit off because too many times, like you're just scrolling through your timeline and you come across stuff that just kind of make you scratch your head. And it's related to Karl Anthony Towns. So the second best player on the team, who, look, I'll give him credit because since the trade deadline, since we have kind of, nixed all the Giannis rumors and punted on that at least until the offseason, he's been great. So I give him credit. He's been great. Last couple games, though, that hasn't been the case. And I brought this up at the beginning of the season. Why was this the quote he gave right before tip-off to start the year? Where he's like, and I'll blow it up for you on the screen, his potential in the Knicks' new offense under Mike Brown. Honestly, I don't know, but we're figuring it out. If you come down to the tweet, you'll see it says October 20th. So you're like, all right, makes sense. Still a lot of time to figure this thing out. Not going to panic. Why is my water spilling? That's not great. I heard something. I heard like a noise in the room. I'm like, what is that? And it's my water's like leaking out of my cup. But anyway, October 20th, he says, honestly, I don't know, but we're figuring it out when asked about his role in Mike Brown's new offense. And you're like, okay, not great. I still don't love the fact that the second best player on the team expected to win its conference and compete for a championship just doesn't know his role in the offense. But it's October 20th, and you just figure that it'll take some time. New head coach, they'll figure it out, and we'll get this thing moving. They got a lot of time to get him comfortable in his new role in this offense because big picture is, man, they're trying to win a championship. So as he ingratiates himself with the coach, we'll see what's going on, and we'll be able to further evaluate that as the season progresses. But then you get to March 29th, and it's more the same. Same kind of quote. Where Karl Anthony Towns once again is just like, yeah, I'm sacrificing, I'm doing my part, but we're still trying to figure it out. And you're wondering, why is that still happening this late in the season? How haven't we figured that out yet? So he just got benched in closing time for the second straight game, not yesterday, but in that Hornets game. And you're like, yo, what's going on, man? Why has this thing not corrected itself yet? So when I talk about vibes, I don't mean that like the team doesn't like each other. What I'm talking about is how do you have some of the second best player on the squad all year long has just not known his role? That's a problem. That's a huge problem. Why does Cat not know his role in the Mike Brown offense? As we are approaching the 2 week mark, 2 weeks away from the start of the postseason. So that's a concern for me. That's a problem. Hit me up in the chat at Ty D Butler. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. We are rolling here tonight talking Knicks. They lose that game to the Thunder, and look, I went into it thinking they could absolutely win. Losing doesn't surprise me. One of my biggest takeaways though was Mike Brown sometimes coaches in ways that makes you miss Tom Thibodeau. And my goal all year long was not to make like this entire season a referendum on Tibbs or to compare the guys, because ultimately like we won't know if this was the right move until we see what happens in the playoffs. But the Knicks played that game yesterday as if it was just like, we'd like to win, but it's not really that important. Whereas I thought, because it essentially was an elimination game for the 2 seed, the Celtics earlier in the day had beaten the Hornets. So the Knicks going into it knew that had they lost, they would be 3 games back, 7 left to play. And this, considering like the Celtics all year long have been one of the 5 best teams in the league, like it's just hard to imagine you're gonna make up 3 games and with 7 left to play against them, even though you played them once head to head. And so I thought that they should have treated that like it was a playoff game. I was hoping for that because as someone who picked them to win the conference, I'd like to see them get the best advantages possible, which includes the 2 seed having home court up until if you do play Detroit in the conference finals. And that game yesterday just didn't feel like, as Mike Brown is coaching it, like he felt that way. It didn't feel like we got to win this one because 5:38 left in the fourth quarter. Cat scores a layup. He's now on a 7-0 run. And the Knicks have pulled to within 2. And then just in a mystifying way, he goes to the bench. In comes Mitchell Robinson. From that point on, the Knicks go on to, I think they shot something like 2 of 6. They scored 7 points the rest of the way. And all of a sudden, a 2-point deficit is now an 11-point deficit. And you just subbed out the player who helped you get back into the game. That didn't make any sense to me. Now, the pushback was he was only out for 30 seconds. Yeah, he was only out for 30 seconds, but it completely disrupted the flow of the game and their rhythm. And they were never able to recapture what they had just had while he was in the midst of that 7-0 run. And so that bothered me a lot. I also didn't love, and we'll see, like, how you know a coach really wants to win that game. Jeff Johnson's about to join us. How you know a coach really wants to win a game is you'll see a deviation from substitution patterns. And so you watch the Knicks, you'll see Jalen will play the entirety of the first quarter. He'll sit for half of the second quarter, come back for the latter half. He'll play the entirety of the third quarter. He'll sit for half of the fourth quarter and come back. And this was a spot to me begging for Mike Brown to say, all right, Jalen, you're playing the entire fourth. Like, we're just going to have you play the whole second half. And he just didn't do that. Now, look, it didn't bite them initially because, as I said, Cat brought them back. They were down 2, but then he subs him out. And I'm just like, man, I wish you would have kept him in the game, kept going to him. The NBC broadcast was just destroy like Reggie Miller just kept destroying Cat, and we see the broadcast honing in on T Mac and Melo pregame, or was T Mac and Vince pregame at half court, just like talking to Cat. They're grilling him, and I'm like, all right, but now he's playing well, and the coach just subs him out. So it made no sense to me. Maybe my man Jeff Johnson, who joins us now, Knicks Film School, he does a tremendous job. And I hear he's got some beef with Stephen A. Smith. So that's something we're going to have to get to on the program. Let him air his chest out, pump his chest out. But Jeff, what's good, my G? I appreciate you joining the show.
Ty, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Listen, I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm a little down after that game last night because I just come away from it thinking, look, I was on TV Saturday night and on radio Sunday morning, pumping people up like, yo, this is a big game because I knew the Celtics. I just had a feeling the Celtics were going to beat the Hornets. So I'm like, they'll beat the Hornets. In order for the Knicks to stay in play for the 2 seed, which I think is important, they've got to win this game because I just can't see a world in which Boston, who's been excellent all season long, all of a sudden have a collapse in his final 7-game stretch. So I'm like, yo, this is the game. Go get it. You competed with them at the Garden. Show up. Deuce comes back. And then we feel a little let down because of how the game ended. And so, man, that was just disappointing. What's your takeaway?
I mean, yeah, if you're a Knicks fan, disappointed anytime that they lose. I think it was still, despite everything that went on, I still think it was a good showing. I don't think that they closed well. They overcame a lot of stuff. They overcame another slow start. The starters showed resilience like we haven't seen in a while to be able to get back in the game. They had to overcome both the Caruso protocols and the SGA whistle, which is a deadly combination. 38-17. Shea had 16. And some of those, it's bad when they show the replays of the fouls and the commentators are just giggling. Oh, yeah, I guess there was some contact there.
You know what's so funny? I'll let you finish. So if
just overall, I think they showed resilience. I think they fought in the game. I just think down the stretch that whole, speaking of whistles and protocols, I feel like it was a big momentum shift was that Cat offensive foul when they were up 1, where this man is the only dude I've seen in the NBA that can get calls that look blatantly in his favor reversed by replay. It is insane. The first game, I think that was the game where he got smacked in the face and they called an offensive foul, but the smack in the face happened first.
Mm-hmm.
And it was clear. They called and they reversed it. Then this one, Chet and Jay Will went Dudley boys on him. They hit him with the 3D. Of course, he does the follow through with his arm, and we don't call the foul there. We call offensive foul, and then upgrade it to a flagrant foul. That becomes a 4-point swing, and that was like a momentum shifter when the Knicks had reassumed the lead. Even though it happened early in the third, I felt like that was just one of those big shifts in tides in the game. So all in all, it was an opportunity missed to stay at pace with the Celtics and also just to get a win over the Thunder. But I think, you can't turn the ball over 19 times. You gotta protect the ball. 19 turnovers turned into 19 OKC points in a game. They lost by 11.
Yeah.
And they had great 3-point shooting. They for the most part, and they attacked the offensive glass. So they played almost 100% of the game that they played, but you can't give the ball away like that.
It's just, listen, I'm just happy that Chet, despite being flagrantly fouled, was able to come back and immediately hit 2 free throws and have a putback. Like that
I mean,
just
yeah.
so it was impressive to me that like you got so viciously murdered and then was able to come back and do that. Like that's amazing. I
Bro.
don't like the way the league is officiated, man, because like that was not a flagrant foul. Look, if you want to sell me on it being an offensive foul because of the follow through, I would say that that's inadvertent. And to your point, Cat got fouled preceding what he did to Chet. But if you want to sell me on an offensive foul, cool. You cannot tell me that that's a flagrant foul. Like it's just not. And I just hate that the way that the league has been officiated because it's gone soft. It makes it tougher for defensive players to do anything because like I get we favor offense, baseball, like the chicks love the long ball and all that. Football, football, it's made it difficult for D-backs to guard receivers. I just hate the way that the league is officiated. The Mike Brown thing, I'm curious your thoughts. I know it's only 30 seconds that Cat sat, but I'm watching this game, and before you hopped on, this is what I was talking about. The NBC broadcast is all over towns. It's not aggressive enough.
Every game.
Lack of shot attempts. And I get it because it's a narrative that follows him. And if you don't watch the Knicks every single game, you're not going to sit there and pierce through some of the minutia. Like, yo, since the trade deadline, he's actually been awesome. And so games like last night have become more rare than him being dominant. But whatever, they're ripping him on the broadcast. They're zoomed in on the conversation he had with Vince and T-Mac. And then he starts killing in the fourth quarter. So I'm like, all right, he answered the bell. He showed up. But now his coach sends him to the bench for 30 seconds. Cool. But 7-0 run, you're now within 2 points. He goes to the bench, and now the game's over. They were never able to get their momentum back. The rhythm was thrown off. The flow of the game was thrown off. I hated the substitution. I thought, and this is how you sometimes can tell coaches really want a game. We know Jalen Brunson's substitution pattern. He'll play the entirety of the first and third quarter and then half of quarters 2 and 4. I'm like, yo, start Jalen the fourth quarter and say, Jalen, give me everything you got. I want to see you go out there and play the whole fourth quarter. I hated the substitution for Cat. I just wanted to see Mike Brown be a little bit more aggressive. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I first guessed it in the moment. The minute he sat, I said, I'm first guessing this. He shouldn't have took him out. 30 seconds later, he's out. He's right back in. And Mitch, he comes in. Mitch comes in for him. Then he comes in for McCall. They run a minute of the double big. Then I think McCall comes back in for Mitch. This was. I don't think that Mike Brown has had too many misses in games. Like if you ask me how many games, I could probably count on one hand the amount of games that Mike Brown quote unquote lost. And I think it's more so the amount of games that you were going to lose this season more than you did last season, just based on experimentation, trying to find something new, seeing what was situational basketball and figuring out, okay, let me see if this combination works. He's still in his let me see something lineups. I'm just trying to see something lineups. Some of them is like, bro, all right, you saw it. we can't have that. We can't have that. But I appreciate what he's trying to do. I do think him, and it's not endemic just to Mike Brown, right? Coaches get into substitution patterns and habits where they say, okay, at this minute mark, this is when my player comes in, right? You hope that in the playoffs, and this is, I think his resume and his behaviors over the course of the season lend itself to believe that Mike Brown will adjust in the playoffs. If something ain't working, he's going to switch it ASAP. Like he isn't just going to be rigid with it.
Yo, Jeff, but that's my point. I wanted, and maybe this is me being unfair and putting a disproportionate amount of significance on a game that Mike Brown is just like, it's the Western Conference. Who cares? I wanted him to coach that like a playoff game. This is a good litmus test. This is a good, if the Knicks win this game, that confidence is through the roof. Like we need to see more of that. And so I wanted him to coach that game last night like it was a playoff game, and he just didn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Deuce McBride injury also threw a monkey wrench into what he wanted to do. For the 11 minutes that he was in, while he didn't have his shot, the defense was there. The defense was all the way back. Like he was giving SGA hell. And I was even shocked. I'm like, damn, first game back, you locking up SGA. That's impressive, right? And you just hope that if it is a re-aggravation, that it doesn't cost him his season and he's able to come back. But I do think Mike Brown was framing the substitutions, trying to figure out what best combinations to play Deuce with the emergence. Alvarado's here now. Clarkson reclaimed his rotation minutes. You still got Mo Diawara. Shamit's been sitting. So there's still a lot of reintegration to go into it. But to your point, man, listen, he did it in Charlotte too. Cat had 3 straight buckets, and then he auto-subbed him for Mitch. And I'm like, yo, at some point, just ride the hot hand. And why I say I have confidence that he'll do it when it matters, he did that during the NBA Cup. In the NBA Cup final, he rode with Clarkson and Kolek and Mitch. They led that comeback, and he stayed there. He stayed there until it was time to bring the starters back. And to your point, man, I don't know how I feel about Brunson playing whole quarters. I feel like, if you want him to play the first 8, take him out for 2, bring him in for the last 2, something like that. I don't know. It's something about.
But coaches will do that. They'll test the waters. They're like, all right, listen, let's just start the 4th quarter with you. If you need a breather, let me know. We'll find time to get you out of the game. But we're going for it here, and he just didn't do it.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that. Kevin Zwicker 96, he chimes in via YouTube. We're streaming on YouTube and Twitter, so hit us up at Ty D Butler. We are on Twitter, streaming on YouTube, talking to my man Jeff Johnson at Jeff Says. Kevin Zwicker says, I came into this next season thinking we were either winning the finals or getting Giannis in the offseason. Hopefully one of those happened. So that brings us to this, Jeff. There's still a lot to discuss. I've got some playoff scenarios I want to go through with you. But the title of this stream is, are the Knicks who we thought they were? We've got 7 games left in the regular season. So on this day, March 30th, 2 weeks away from the start of the playoffs, are the Knicks who we thought they were?
It depends on what you thought they were. Like, if you ask me, like, do I think the Knicks are contenders? I still think the Knicks are contenders.
Are they the favorites to win the Eastern Conference in your eyes?
Well, it would be the Pistons because they're the number 1 team. I honor the regular season. The way you play in the regular season, if you are the top team, you are the odds-on favorite, and I think you are the favorite. Now, I'm still waiting for teams to prove it in the postseason. I get it. The Pistons are primed to make a run. They still haven't won a playoff game since a playoff series since 2008, and still haven't won at home since 2008. And now you got Cade. This injury blew my whole mood with the way Cade went out with the collapsed lung. We don't know what's going to happen there, right? You want the best to be able to play and to make the playoffs live. We don't know what's going to happen there. And depending on whatever matchup they got, I know the Pistons have been playing strong. Without Cade, playoffs are a different beast. So, you got battle-tested Boston. You got the Knicks where, national conversation be damned. The proof is in the runs that they've made, right? You've got the Cavs with Harden now. That's like a interesting wild card factor. And you have one of the tightest 5 through 10 playoff seed races that we've had since the play-in game, the inception of that new tournament. Yeah. So I think it's an exciting time. I think if you're looking at favorites in the East right now, I'd say the Pistons are the favorites because they've been the best team in the East by record and by play the entire season. Now, does that mean because they're the favorites they're going to win? No, it doesn't. But heavy is the head that wears the crown. Y'all went out. Y'all winning 50+ games. Now you gotta prove it in the playoffs.
I think the playoffs are going to be tremendous. I would guess that seeds 1 through 4 in the Eastern Conference all will advance. Like, I'd be shocked if Pistons, Celtics, Knicks, Cavs don't get to the second round. Western Conference, different story, man. I think every series outside of the Oklahoma City and then 8 matchup, every other series is a toss-up. I could see the Spurs getting bounced in the first round because the inexperience. I'm a huge Lakers fan. I am high on the Lakers. Could I see them getting knocked out by Denver? Absolutely, right? I could see the Rockets getting clipped, and so like the playoffs are going to be phenomenal. Which brings me to this right here because I want to play a game of, I guess we can call it cuddle, marry, trash, so that we're not violating any of our FCC airwaves rules.
Right.
But as the Knicks guy, you take a look at these teams that could potentially be the 6th seed. I give you Atlanta, I give you Philly, and I give you Orlando of teams you want to play. Cuddle, marry, trash. Atlanta, Philly, Orlando.
Wow. That's a good one. I would say cuddle Orlando, marry Atlanta, trash Philly.
Wow, we're on the same page. I love it.
And I'd say for the Knicks, and really any of those top 4 seeds, main reason you don't want to see Orlando is you trying to get out the first round in one piece, bro. They play rugged defense. You play a super physical team. You coming out of that series with bumps and bruises and scratches. So can you withstand that? It behooves you to end that series ASAP. But the way they've taken a nosedive over the past month, and Franz Wagner doesn't seem like he's returning.
He just never plays. Like, what's up with that? He just never plays. it's
one him of the worst, or Paolo that's injured. It's like they have horrible injury luck.
It's one of the worst contracts in the league, man. Franz, like he just never plays.
Yeah, so he's not going to be around. So that's why I said that. Atlanta, I think Atlanta has an intriguing team. They're kind of built in the modern NBA lens. Long, rangy wings, dudes who can shoot threes and all of that. The thing about them is you traded Trae Young to try to shore up your defense, and now you have CJ McCollum taking his place, which is a better option on defense, but still somewhat of a liability. Dyson Daniels is going to be left open this entire playoffs, but as long as the Atlanta Hawks are in the playoffs, people are going to dare Dyson Daniels to beat them. Their bench isn't really robust enough, I don't think. Like if you're thinking about, like, they're gonna need players to play out of their mind to help supplement it, and I don't know if they have the requisite offense to be able to hang with any of the top 4. And the only reason why I say trash Philly is, I have been saying it, I don't know if Paul George's super soldier serum is gonna kick in. I don't know what concoction he took. But if he's spry and he's feeling like 2010, 2013, that could be they have so many X factors.
Yeah.
They have so many X factors that if all of them, if they solve for all of those X's, then they're a top 4 seed talent in the bottom 4. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason why. Like I would favor the Knicks over all 3 of those teams, but it's you're opening the door for a lot of nonsense to go down with Philly. Although they're hoping that Joel Embiid's knee stays duct taped together, and they're hoping that Paul George can be effective.
Yeah.
VJ Ekstrom playoffs, he's cold, but the playoffs affects everybody differently. I don't think it's going to affect him differently. He just seems like he's a killer. That's Caribbean killer, bro.
That's the thing. Can you get Joel Embiid to play 7 games in 2 weeks? Like that is a tall order. But I want to stay with the Philly conversation for a moment. I was talking to, and I'm not name dropping, Alan Hahn. We were texting a couple weeks ago. And I'm trying to sell him on the Sixers being like a dark horse. Now, look, can they win the championship? No, I don't think they can win the championship. If this were March Madness and you've got the and we're doing which team can go on a Cinderella run Yeah, the Sixers would be one of those teams because if they're only playing twice a week, I trust them, but I just can't see them winning 4 playoff rounds with those guys always injured. But can I see them winning a playoff series? Yeah, like if Embiid's healthy and Paul George comes back and Maxi's fine and Edgecombe, like that team has a high ceiling for a round. Like I think they can win a playoff round. I don't think they can win a championship, but of those matchups, that would be the toughest one. And so, look, in order to win a championship, the road should be hard outside of Boston a couple of years ago. And I'm not trying to, get Celtics fans mad, but that road was pretty easy. The road is usually tough, right? And so if you're the Knicks, Philly, Boston, Detroit, Oklahoma City, like that is as tough of a path as like we've seen in a very long time. But the Sixers thing is fascinating to me, bro. Because that look, as a basketball fan, sign me up. I want that.
For sure. And if all this talk about ethical hoops, that would be the most ethical playoff run. If you go, that's the gauntlet right there.
Yeah.
You go through that gauntlet and you win a title, not even the most potent internet slander can pierce your armor, bro. Like it's ironclad. It's hermetically sealed that you were a certified champion.
That's like the Chiefs. I don't know how much. I think you follow the NFL a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Chiefs, what was it? A couple years ago, they on the road beat Miami, beat Buffalo, beat Baltimore, and then beat San Francisco. And it's like, whoa, this is one of the all-time great runs. So that's what that would be for the Knicks. Yeah, what's up with you and Stephen A, man? Like, what's going on? We got black on black.
I got no beef with nobody, man. I'm all about peace.
We need some unity. You got the Queens sign in your background. Stephen A. He hails from Hollis, Queens. So we got Queens on Queens crime. Like, what's going on? Why you want smoke with Stephen A?
I don't want smoke with Stephen A. That's the thing. It's not a smoke-induced commentary. It's just I comment on what I see. I am the ABS system of commentary. When I see something, I'm calling balls and strikes, and I reserve the right to tap my head when I see something crazy that you telling me is fact. Man. No, we need to review that. And I had to, once I started seeing all the back and forth and the talk with McHale and all of that, I just tap. It's time. Let's go to the VAR. Let's go to the ABS. Let's do all of that because it is getting crazy. And I think for me, I get annoyed when I hear people putting so much onus on the national conversation around this team. I've long spoken about Knicks for Clicks and the Knicks for Clicks industrial complex, where tons of content creators, tons of national media folks. I remember when this team was bad and it was open season to get off your 5-minute comedy routine on the Knicks and what they and their futility. Now that they're good, it's still a big market. It's still a major market. It's still talk of the town. It's like the Cowboysification of sports commentary. We'll just talk about them, throw out whatever topic, and we can cook. And that's what I saw. And my whole issue was, for one, while this whole Mikal Bridges conversation was going down, the Knicks were on a winning streak. If you just tuned in and you were like, I just want to hear about basketball, I'm wondering what's going on with the Knicks, you would have thought they were fighting for a playing spot. The way the conversation was going. That doesn't mean that he can't be criticized. That doesn't mean that you can't expect more. It's not about the criticism. It's about the sensationalism of it all. And the larger point is how Stephen A continuously says that he's a Knicks fan. And I've said for a while, no, he's not. You're not the avatar of Knicks fandom. And if you are assuming that to make your bread, to be lucrative and all of that, cool. I don't hate the player. I can also comment on how the game is being played. And if you want to be the avatar, then you already know how your Knicks fans get down. They're going to call out the BS when they see it. So I called it out.
Wait, so can I push back on one thing, though? And,
sure.
And this is not even Stephen A related. This is the whole idea of Knicks for Clicks. They're not in one of the major markets. They are in the number one market, right?
Of
And
course.
so you have the most popular team in the biggest market starving for a championship. And this is the first time since the late 90s, early 2000s, where the expectation going into a season was the Knicks get to the finals. And so that is going to kind of garner a lot of interest as far as like national media in the basketball space talking about
1,000%.
this team and scrutinizing them, because heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? Like this isn't the 2020. You remember when, Randall just got here and Tibbs just got here. And it's like, oh, this is a cute story. They're the 4 seed. Yeah, they lose to the Hawks, but great season. Like, this is not that. This season, even Brunson's first year, when it got bounced by Miami. Like, this is now you've graduated to a level, and the Warriors went through this during their run, even when they had won championships. It's like every single thing we are going to scrutinize. And so, like, me and my job, I do it. I give them credit though. Like, I won't just bash the Knicks for 2 hours. Like, that's ridiculous. They're one of the best teams in the NBA. But if something needs to be called out, I'm doing that. And Bridges has been kind of like the poster boy for it, because yes, you're right. They were in the midst of a 7-game win streak. They're also beating tomato cans. So we're trying to figure out like how much of this actually in the grand scheme of things matters, like going forward. And he's just not playing well. But look, Josh Hart did what he was supposed to do. You got to defend your teammates. Like, what's he supposed to do with it? Like, yeah, man, Bridges, he's ass. Like what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, he did that, and I thought it was corny to basically take a shut up and dribble stance with him. Like, that is corny, because of course he set the trap, told him to stand down. Josh Hart responds, and now we got content for the next week. Now we got content for the next week. We're doing it right now. What I would say to you, this is what I say to you. You are 1,000% right. The way you presented it to me is you calling balls and strikes. You call it like you see it when you see it. But that philosophy is not applied equally. And if we're doing this journalism thing, if we're doing this media thing in an idealistic world, or at least in a principle world, you call balls and strike the same way. You see how you said, they had a 7-game winning streak, but it was mostly against like the bottom of the league. I had to hear about the hot Atlanta Hawks and how they've won 14 of 15. Here's the difference, Ty. We focus on the fact that they are winning. Mm-hmm. Take a look at the records of the teams they was beating. Yeah, we don't hear about that.
But what's Atlanta expected to do this year?
That's the difference. That's the difference. When you're talking about the cool story and whatever the case may be, they made a major trade. They started winning games. They're in the hunt for a top 6. So it's okay. Are they going to be able to make some noise? I understand your point about the higher expectations you have, the more scrutiny that you're going to receive. The scrutiny isn't the problem. It's the sensationalism of the scrutiny. Okay. I've coined also Jokic privilege. Because them boys stay in a contender role regardless of what happens. The Knicks they've been destroying the Nuggets low-key for the better part of 3 years. But when you get into the national conversation, they are contender emeritus.
Well, because they've won. That comes with the territory, bro.
Well, let's talk about this season, though. They've won. Let's talk about this season, though. They'll do the same things that the Knicks do, but they won't get the same level of scrutiny. Well, because just like you said, Golden State, even as champions, you still get scrutinized. They are former champions. So actually, their scrutiny should be even higher, because you can't say, well, they got a championship, we're going to be cool. Do we play to be cool, or do we play for rings, right? Do we play to win?
No, but I hear that, and part of the Golden State conversation was people just hated like how they came together, right?
Oh yeah, it was mostly Durant,
yeah.
Sensationalism.
But what the Nuggets thing is, and we can go through like all the teams that have won championships, maintained their core, had the best player in the sport, arguably. Like, you're always going to give those guys the benefit of the doubt, regardless of what's happening. Now, look, I'm someone who, for the like 3/4 of the year, was like, man, the Nuggets will be fine. And then you start to watch, and it's like, I don't know, man, because like, yes, the injuries can explain some of the issues that they're having, but it's similar to like and I ran this by one of my producers yesterday, who's a Nets fan. Like 5 years ago, we were doing the same thing with the Nets. It's like, oh, they'll be fine. The injuries, like once, and then they just never got healthy. And so, look, I get it. Like, to your point, there should be more panic around the Nuggets. I just think that when you are a champion, and the championship happened just 3 years ago, that's gonna be why people give you that earned benefit of the doubt.
And I definitely understand that, and I empathize with that. It's more so for me. Knicks clicking didn't just start 2 years ago. It didn't just start 5 years ago. It's been going down, and yeah, I could give you so many examples just off the top of my head where it's laugh, because me being in media, me also being a social media professional, me also being an on-air talent professional, right? I know how the sausage is made. So I can laugh because I see it. Mikal Bridges, that topic was cooking on Knicks Twitter. Of course, it's going to end up on national media because that's what good producers and APs and PAs do. They scour the internet for topics. So I totally get it. But the scrutiny takes a sensationalistic tone when it comes specifically about this team. About this team. Yo, I remember the Brunson conversation. You want to talk about cute stories? They signed Brunson. Oh, is this supposed to be the savior? They think he's KD. Why are they giving him this money? Blah, blah. Yo, the Knicks are trying to upgrade their team incrementally. They're taking a chance on this guy. They think he has the fundamentals. It's still a feel-good story. The Knicks are good. They're relevant. They have a competent organization in front office. But that move got super scrutinized. Super scrutinized to the point where it was like, yo, did Brunson steal y'all girl? What's going on? And then don't get me started on the whole CAA Knicks. Then it was before that, it was the Kentucky Knicks. Then it was, oh, this is nepotism going on right now. Like, you see what I mean? Like, this is the type of stuff that happens. Okay, I'll say it. The KD Kyrie year.
2019, yep.
Yes. They were coming to the Knicks. I'm not going to say why I know. I just know. When KD popped his Achilles, that kind of threw a monkey wrench into everything. But I knew if I was hearing things, all of the other people was hearing things. You listen to the whole media conversation, it was a foregone conclusion. Yo, all signs point to New York. All signs point to New York. They zag, they go to Brooklyn. What does national media do? Oh, Knicks fans, y'all always think that y'all gonna get these people. You always think that all the players are gonna come to you. Who told us? Yeah. Who confirmed it? Y'all did. And now y'all gonna gaslight us. Proper utilization. We're gonna gaslight us into telling us that we didn't hear what y'all were saying for months. Why? Rage bait, engagement bait, views, CPMs, shares. I get it. I don't hate the player, but I can comment on how the game is being played. And this type of stuff has been happening to the Knicks for years. There's another reason why they don't want the Knicks to win a title, because it's the final frontier. Once they win a championship, the Knicks clicking ain't going to hit the same. Who's going to be the next? I don't know. It may be the season finale of Hot Takes.
You think so?
No.
But
at least it's like the Knicks win a title this year. You really can't. The next level of rage bait is, oh, that was a fluke. Next year ain't gonna happen. They ain't gonna defend their title. I don't even know if they're gonna make the playoffs. See, I don't need to be a quantum computer to predict the future. I see it. I see it.
Well, so no, you know what'll happen. You know what'll happen, and I won't do this. But it'll be because Jason Tatum was awesome last night, but it'll be, well, Tatum, he came back too soon, wasn't
Right.
really ready.
Herculean effort.
Halliburton, he was out for the season. Pistons weren't ready. They
Right.
have 2 all-stars, but do they really have 2 all-stars?
Cade only had 1 lung. Like,
Yeah,
what are we doing
so
here?
it's, Oklahoma City had to go through the tough West, so they were beaten down. They're trying to
if the Spurs come out, well, they were overachieving to begin with. Wemby hasn't hit his final form yet.
Yo, I do gotta say this though, bro. Man, I feel attacked. Because you don't even know this, what I'm about to tell you.
What's up?
I was one of those cats, and this wasn't for clicks. This wasn't rage bait. When they gave Brunson that contract, what was that, 2021, 2022? I was like, yo, what are they doing? I didn't like
I can
it.
understand that. That's a
look, I've been proven wrong, and I've said this, and Knicks fans have heard me say this on multiple platforms. I've been proven wrong. That dude's a superstar, and I'm happy about it. But initially, when that free agency came down, I'm like, dog, you doing what with who?
Right. See, I watch your stuff, Ty, so I know you can inject a rational level of skepticism. When I heard about the Brunson signing, see, I watched them playoffs when he was giving Utah hell when Luka was out, and I said, I was like, wow, this guy is rising to the occasion without Luka, and then with Luka, they was kind of cooking. And I said, So when they signed him, I said, okay, do they see what I see? Are they banking on with more responsibility and more playing time and starter minutes, this dude can net out to be a solid player? Like, I don't think this is all extra credit at this point. This all NBA, this MVP, this is super extra credit. You thought he was going to be a complimentary piece, like at the floor was like, and maybe the ceiling was like, yo, a solid rotation player, a solid point guard. The Knicks finally got a point guard for that they've been looking for decades, and he's going to be able to keep the party going and keep the flow of the offense going and be able to score, do all of that. I didn't call this, Ty. I didn't call this at all. You know what I said? I was like, yo, I hope it works. I was like, yo, if they got multiple people in the organization that vouch for his level of work ethic and have seen him since day one, they have the faith. I seen them Villanova runs. I said, okay, let's see. Let's see. Worst case scenario, the contract wasn't crazy enough where you couldn't have flipped it or did whatever. But now it's like that's an example where I'm not surprised at the skepticism. It's when we cross the Rubicon into sensationalism, no matter what. Like the 5 years, the Knicks have been one of the best run franchises this decade.
That's fair.
In basketball, for sure. You want to go to the core 4 major sports? I put them in the top 10, just to be conservative. I put them in the top 10. Apologies, hockey organizations, maybe Florida Panthers. I put them
Tampa
up
Bay.
there.
Yo, listen, I'm not a hockey dude, but shout out Tampa Bay,
Florida
Panthers.
Well, I don't know what's going on with Vegas. I know Tortorella stay with a job, brother. That man is never out of work long. I feel like he be dirty back in coaching positions, bro. Like, I'm like, yo, how are you always available and you slide? You slide. Don't you have a family at home? Why are you taking these other people's coaching jobs? But there's organizations that I can think of off the top of my head who's been successful. Like Colorado's always in the mix.
I mean, like Kansas City, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Buffalo. Like that's tough. Top 10. I don't know if I'm going top 10. So I've got 5 already in the NFL.
See, that's the thing, because the NFL also holds extra. It holds extra weight to be.
But I get it holds
extra weight, but because there's so many players.
Yeah,
that you just have to get it right, and you could lose anybody any minute.
Especially like in the NBA, they've been one of the most well-run teams.
Right, I'd say at least top 5 in the NBA. If there's an argument for top, because I mean, if you're going to baseball, you're going to the Dodgers.
The Yankees still have to be in the conversation. They're in the
You put
playoffs.
this because they're still showing the success, even if people are
Yeah.
annoyed that they haven't won a World Series
Yeah.
and whatever. Like, see, you talk to some Yankees fans, Ty, they might push back on that. Here, look, they might push back on that.
Fam,
they're like, Aaron Boone's still here? No, I'm not putting the ball.
You don't got to talk to Yankees fans. Talk to me. But
Cashman.
If I'm being fair, I mean, they were in the World Series 2 years ago.
Right.
Crossroads moment, though, because, and this is where things get interesting, man. This is how people get fired even after a successful run, because if the Knicks don't win the title this year, you got a big decision to make. And I don't want to have the Giannis conversation right now. I just got tired of it. It's annoying, like whatever. But you'll obviously have some big decisions to make just as far as what to do with this roster. Brunson's about to get a bag. You've already got the OG contract. Cat's going up to like 60 M's. Bridges got his deal done. Deuce and Mitch are up. So you've got a lot of decisions to make with this roster, which is why this year is so important, man. Like, I sometimes get annoyed with the overreaction from Knicks fans. I then get annoyed with like the underreaction from Knicks fans. But
it's all annoying, man.
It's we're living in a time that, Jeff, like, we haven't been here in a minute, bro. Like,
I hear you.
The 2012 30. I was thinking about this earlier because I was trying to put together my top 5 starting line, like my top 5 Knicks just starting lineup since the turn of the century. So I'm thinking about all the good teams. Maybe we could do that. That 2012-2013 run, we knew it was going to be short because they had a bunch of old heads on the team.
Yeah, it was the Expendables.
As much love as we had for Melo, like Stat was hurt, and so we knew that was short. This is different, and so I love it, bro. Like, being a diehard Hoops fan, I know Knicks fans be at my neck because sometimes they think I'm hating on them. It's all love. But this is fun. Like, this is really I'm excited for the playoffs, man.
I am too, and I wish people would enjoy it more. Like, I was there. I was doing the Knicks Fan TV. Shout out to my guys over there. I was doing the post game, and I hear people. I'm reading the chat. I hear some people. Oh, we losing in the first round. We losing in the second round. Can this team even make the playoffs? Like, you gotta blow it up. We gotta do this. And I just said, yo, bro, stop watching. Guys, just stop watching. Basketball's not for you. Why do you watch sport?
But isn't that New York? We New York. That's what we do in New York. That's part of our culture.
Yeah, it is. I guess you're blowing off steam, but it's like at some point I'm like, yo, do you enjoy this? Or is this something to like release tension in your body and release anger, and you direct it at the Knicks? Like, I understand they haven't won in a while. I understand it's been a lot of heartbreaks. I understand it. But my thing is, we are inundated with tons of content in all forms, 24/7. You can find something else to watch and something else to pour your joy into. I can't hate watch a team that I'm supposed to root for. I'm sorry. And some of the people come off like that. And fan is short for fanatic. So I understand a lot of people are going to be fanatical about the squad. So I kind of filter it out. But I just offer that, man. Like, you don't believe, you be a fan how you fan, but don't lose your joy over it.
Yo, so do you think that the team 2 years ago, that 24 squad with DiVincenzo and OG had just gotten here, it feels like we're heading toward, man, if let's just say this season doesn't end with a championship. Like, there are going to be a bunch of fans that were like, yo, I just didn't enjoy this team. Like, it wasn't as fun as the team 2 years ago. Right. I feel like that's where we're headed as far as like narratives, emotionally, psychologically, like when we do the whole eulogizing of the season.
Yeah. Well, it as a Yankee fan. At this point, there's only one thing to do.
Yeah.
Is win the chip. Any season where you don't win the chip, it's a failure, right?
Yeah.
It's a failure. Now, the thing with that Knicks squad was they were overachievers, and they seemed to be peaking at the right time. They seemed to be that Cinderella story, like you brought up earlier. They seem to be that Cinderella story that's bubbling. Jaime Jaquez is the butterfly effect that changed the course of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Because that is my one Knick regret in this
Randall
decade. Is Randall popping his shoulder. Because what he did in the playoffs with the Timberwolves last year, I feel like was redemption for all the people that sensationalize his level of play. Like, I know he's maddening. Guys, 90% of the league is maddening. Actually, every player has something that they do that their fans probably get annoyed with, right? But I thought Randall was primed to have a fantastic playoff run. Like, those guys were just gelling at the right time. I don't think everybody would have gotten hurt. Like, it just would have been different, bro. But, you know, it is what it is. It happened, and, you know, they weren't able to make it happen. I hear the conversation about, I don't really rock this team, I don't vibe this team. It's the expectations, because now you are there's nowhere else to go, really, but really the finals and the title. Yeah. That is the next step. Like, you got to either get to the finals, you got to win a title, or at least get to the finals for you to be like, all right, they achieved something. Once you made the conference finals, now that's your floor. That's no longer your ceiling, right? So that's how people are going to operate. And I've said it, bro. They win a title, I'm going to love this team. At the end of the day, you ask them, I'm like, yes, because they broke the curse.
All right, last two things. One is basketball. One is hip hop. You know, I can't get you out of here without talking some hip hop.
Yes, sir.
Because you just brought me back to a path that I'm still not emotionally over. My favorite player in the league right now is KD. All time it's Kobe, but right now it's KD. The 2019 thing just bothers me so much. One, because of how it ended in Brooklyn. But two, it's like, bro, it's the perfect marriage. Because what's KD's like, but on his resume? Well, did you really win a championship? And he doesn't have, and he can say he doesn't care about this. I don't believe him. But he doesn't have like a home, a fan base that's rocking with him. That's like, nah, that's my dog. Like, Steph's got his crew on social media. It's like, nah, you ain't saying a thing about Steph. LeBron's obviously got his, call him stands. Like, most of these all-time greats have that. KD just doesn't, man. OKC's not really rocking with him like that. Houston, I mean, you see what's going on with them right now. The Nets, like Golden State, wanted them out. And so, like, going to the Knicks, like, that's a fan base that if you had won a championship there, they were never going to allow anyone to say anything about you on social media. It was, imagine the smoke you would have had for someone trying to, crap on KD's name if he won a championship with the Knicks. It would have been like, nah, you don't want these problems.
That's why the Knicks championship is like the golden goose of the league right now. It is the most direct path, to basketball immortality that we have left. After that title is won, I don't know what it would be. Maybe it's the next three-peat. Yeah. That would probably be the next basketball immortality. Who pulls off the next three-peat? Because we haven't had that in a while. Since 98.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, Lakers,
since 2002. Sorry. Yeah. So since them, we haven't had a three-peat since the Kobe Shaq Lakers. We haven't had a three-peat.
Close. The Lakers with Kobe and the front end, right?
Right.
Miami, Golden State, but we haven't gotten the three-peat.
Yeah, we've gotten the back-to-backs, but we haven't gotten the three-peats. So especially a three-peat in the parity era, that's probably the next one, right? And I'm talking about direct path to where it could be me and you, 14th and 15th guy on the bench. We will be immortalized forever. We walk around town, yo, yeah, Ty, let's go, championship 2026, let's go. 30 years from now, they're like, yo, Ty Butler, he's my favorite Knick, bro. Favorite Knick. I love, like, he should get Hustle, who come in, do all of that. They making mythology of you where you like, bro, I ain't really play that much, but I ain't gonna stop it.
It's like, nah, you came in garbage time, bro.
Right. And you'd have a home forever. And that's the one thing that breaks my heart about KD. He don't really have a basketball home anymore. Yeah. Maybe it's the Nets.
Yo, that's one
that might be it. Which is sad.
Yo, we'll do this because I've got two things. Because you're just like me. This summer we'll do like some of the like biggest what ifs in NBA history. The 2021 Nets, it's there. The OKC in 2012, like LeBron in the 2011 or the 2012 season, if he doesn't win, that'll be a fun conversation. Our all time starting five for the Knicks post 2000 is another fun one. All right, let's end it with some hip hop, bro.
Yes, sir.
J. Cole,
Yes.
making the rounds last week. Yo, he got a lot of criticism, and I didn't necessarily agree with it because he's telling the truth, right? Like everything that he said was how he felt. Like I felt like he was sincere and authentic, and this was the first time in 2 years he's talking about it, and it's an embarrassing moment for him. The only problem I had, so I want to get your thoughts on him making the rounds and what he said. Only criticism I have for J. Cole was, bro, if you're gonna be on these records talking about anybody who wants to smoke with you can get it, I can't have you out here apologizing and backing out the beat. That's my only issue with J. Cole. He's still a legend. He's still a star. He's still the big three. But that's my only issue with him.
Yeah, I think it's tough, right? Because he made a grown-up decision. Like he made a real man decision to back out of that because he saw the landscape and said, oh, this is about to become something that I didn't think it was going to become. You know, you my man, yo. I was just slapboxing. I didn't know it was going to get turned into for real. Like chill. Like I don't want it like that. Like I don't even believe what I'm saying. Like I'm forcing myself to battle. I ain't really want to battle like that. That's sincere. When you talk about the battle culture in hip hop, you look like you ran from the smoke.
Yeah.
That's just no matter the explanation that you give, it just looks like you threw a rock, try to hide your hand, and the minute people say, I saw you throw the rock, you're like, yeah, you know what? I threw the rock. I apologize, right? Like, I think there was a way, and maybe he didn't see the path and he didn't want the path, which is cool. But there was a way where he could have threw his shot, literally kept it on wax, just, hey, we sparring right now. That's my man, but I gotta get him. He said something to me, so I'm gonna get him. And that's my man. I'm texting him like, yo, I'm about to get you. Right? Like, because it's peace. It's not like I ain't trying to violate. And we keep it like that. It's like, don't get personal. I ain't talk about your family. I ain't talk about the other thing. We just going career for career and record for record. That's part of the culture. Like, that's what happens. But when you create a song and then you delete it and then you say, I was tripping, it looks like you shook.
Yeah.
So now the fans are and bravado is essential to the identity of these rappers because eventually the all-time greats are going to be embroiled in a battle. It's just the history of hip hop is lined with greats that have had to battle and battle to keep their corners. Like that's just what it is. You could go all the way down to the beginnings of it. There was different types of battles. Like they didn't all turn violent, right? But at some point you're gonna battle. So I personally don't think he should have ran from it. But if he made that decision as a man and as an adult, I'm not mad at it. He just knows now for his career that's going to follow him.
That's
and
always
he's just going to have to talk about it. It is what it is.
That's always going to be part of your legacy. It's also why I didn't love Hov's comments about, like this kind of went too far and maybe we shouldn't battle rap anymore. It's like, bro, you were a part of something, maybe not to this extent because of, it became lawsuits and all that. But man, what you and Nas were saying to each other, Biggie and Pac, like this has been always what it's been about. Now, the point I will agree on is social media has added a different layer to this whole thing where it's like, I'm out here arguing with Barbs, right? I'm going back and forth with Nicki Minaj fans. And then I sit here and I'm like, I don't even think I'm arguing with people, bro. These are bots. Like, what am I? I'm wasting my, you should have, I'm putting mad energy into these tweets. And it's like, what am I doing with my life? Like, these are not real people. Like her, like, she's got the whole algorithm set up where it's like paid actors and all. So I got into a mess, but that's the only point I would agree with Hove on. Like the social media aspect has just like added a different layer to this whole thing.
Right. And look, don't get it twisted. Fans have always been nuts. I was around during Jay versus Nas. There was no social media. Fans were insane. The streets were hot. Mm-hmm. Okay? You want to talk about New York Civil War? Fam, your high school, your college, the water cooler, the block, you had to choose a side and debate your side. You think debate culture is crazy then? You had to have your facts. Folks was going song for song, bar for bar. Who can battle who? Who's this? Who's that? I remember Hot 97. There was like a poll. They polled the city to say who you think won the battle. Like it got crazy. And look, Jay-Z's also somebody who had to go on the radio and apologize for Super Ugly. He's like, yo, my mom said I was wilding. Yeah. I apologize because I think it went too far. Right? Like he is speaking from a place of knowledge. I just think that we can't throw away the essence of hip hop for fanatics and bots and losers who have 20 followers trying to stir up conversation and make AI clips and do all of this nonsense. Just because they are sensationalizing it and take it too far doesn't mean that it should be eliminated from the culture of hip hop. That's me. Awesome. It's like, I understand the sentiment where you say, yo, the fans are crazy, but they're even more insane now because they have the tools of social media to be able to overblow this to something it doesn't need to become. But you can also choose to ignore it. You could also
like doxing too. The whole doxing thing.
I mean, yeah, people are losers, crazy. Man. They're absolutely losers. And that's the type of stuff. Like that type of stuff, unfortunately, is going to happen.
Yeah.
Regardless of battling. So I just think if like he made that whole point about the core elements of hip hop and what they've become today, there probably needs to be some gatekeeping again to restore it.
Yo, I always appreciate you hopping on, man. This was fun.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you having me.
Nah, this was dope, man. Shout out to you, Jeff Johnson, at Jeff J says, hit him up on social media. We'll do this again, man. I'll see you in the playoffs. We'll talk some Knicks. We'll talk some hip hop. Drake's gonna drop Ice Man, so maybe we break that down. You a Drake fan?
Fan? I like his music. Yeah, I definitely like his music.
All right, cool. Jeff, I appreciate you, bro.
My man.
Holla at me, man.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yo, that was a fun conversation. Really fun conversation. At Ty D Butler, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit me up at Ty D Butler on Twitter. That was dope, man. Talk some hip hop, some real hardcore hip hop talk on this Monday night. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I will be back tomorrow, so hit me up. Show love to Jeff. Hit him up on his social media. I appreciate you guys. Peace and love. Holla at your boy.